everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is a coloured themed one for anyone that's watching. I'm wearing some purple, you're wearing some purple, and there's a purple Ormsby behind us. It does look very, very deliberate, but it wasn't organised in the slightest.
No, we're just like attuned on a cosmic level.
Yeah. This is episode 138, I believe, and I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, as usual, here with my handsome friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, bud?
You'll make me blush.
Yeah.
Aye, still not great, but I'm getting there. I'm surviving.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you blush further actually today, because although you told me not to give you anything or buy you anything, because you're skint, just because you're skint, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve things in life.
It's not the point.
And when somebody gives you a gift, nothing is expected in return. So I'm gonna make you blush further now by giving you a wee gift. I haven't wrapped it or anything, so
Okay.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I'm gonna show it on the camera for everybody. Mike's actually really not going to appreciate this. Here you go, sir. Have a bottle of horrendous hot sauce.
Oh, my asshole is going to hurt.
Yeah, I don't think. Thinking about it, I know you've been having stomach problems as is. So
my lord!
Maybe you don't want that in your life, but
135,000 Scovilles.
It's funny because for anyone that watches Hot Ones,
thanks very much, mate.
I'm sure everyone that watches this channel watches Hot Ones.
Is that like the fifth?
They all know that
something?
The bomb is the one. It's not
usually catches people off.
Yeah, because people say that not only is it horrendously hot, but it tastes disgusting as well.
Oh, really?
So
even better.
Yeah, supposedly it's absolutely brutal, and I don't trust Scoville units, to be honest.
No, it doesn't have any real bearing on how painful and how long it lasts.
Yeah, the Bumblefucked is like 6 million Scoville, so that's a fraction of what the Bumblefoot is. But that Bumblefoot didn't kill me; it was hot, but I imagine that'll be considerably worse. So there you go.
Thanks very much.
Have a very miserable Christmas, you bastard.
Yes. I think I'm going to remove some stomach lining with this.
Yeah.
At some point.
Do it.
Thanks, mate. Thanks very much.
Very welcome. Has anyone out there tried the bomb? Let us know in that comment section below. Not recommended, of course.
What should I expect? What should I prepare for?
Pain, agony, misery, remorse.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not touching. I've even stopped drinking cans of Monster. I don't have one here, and I haven't had one in days.
Yeah.
Because my stomach's just playing up, and I'm like, cool. Maybe I just need to readjust my my diet in general.
Sure. Yeah, hold off on it.
How I treat my guts.
Even if it just sits in a cupboard as like a trophy, it's there. You have it. So
that's the best thing about these kind of hot sauces. They last forever.
Well, I mean, they last forever. But when my bottle of Bumblefucked got to the point where it no longer lasted, I must have had it for 4 or 5 years. But at that point, no, you don't. You don't want it.
But you can cook with it and stuff.
Yeah, good. I mean, please don't.
I'm going to make a chili that's going to ruin my life.
Yeah, please, absolutely never do that. So we have a show for you today. We have some things to talk about, a bit of fan mail. We are going to have fun with it. We are heading towards Christmas. I'm going to announce actually that we're going to be doing our Christmas live stream for you guys, and we're going to. I think we agreed we're going to do that on the 29th of December.
Yeah.
So that's a Wednesday. This works out really well because we'll do a nighttime live stream for all of you guys. That hopefully you can tune in to. We'll have a couple of drinks and we'll have a good time. That means we won't have a show go live on the 27th, I don't believe. That means, of course, we don't have to record a show next week over actual Christmas, which would be, hard work for anybody.
Yeah.
With families. Easy for me, but, much harder for the family man over here. So I think that works really well for us, and I think hopefully you guys are okay with having a show delayed by a couple of days. But you can have a good live stream. Live streams are fun.
Yes.
We're going to play the card game, which I've...
yes. Have you got it set up then?
I can't see the cards anymore.
No.
Melissa must have...
They'll be somewhere.
I'll find them, and I'm going to draft up a list of... I'm going to fill it with guitar players' names, and we're going to shuffle them up. We're going to draw 2 of them out, and then we're going to argue over who the better guitar player is. I've not decided on what the criteria for better is.
There shouldn't be any.
Of course there shouldn't, but it's going to be a dumb drinking stream where hopefully we'll fight each other. Yeah, hopefully. And then once we pick the winner of that, we will move them aside. We'll put all the winners on one side, then we'll shuffle up again, and hopefully we'll get down to one final guitar player.
I think we could do it with the cards and even like on screen in some way. Open like a text document or whatever, or like an image where we can drag and drop names and make it into like, you watch like the head-to-heads.
Sure.
And you see where I've got maybe 16 names at the sides and it all funnels down into the winner. We could probably do something like that.
Yeah, hellishly complicated. But
Yeah.
I could say, I'm going to say we could absolutely do that, but I'm going to tell you we're
Probably
not
won't.
gonna.
Yeah.
We Mike turned up today to do a podcast maybe 10 minutes ago, and I sat down and went, right, let's look for things to talk about. So
That's the thing. Like,
That's how organised we are.
it's been fairly sparse in terms of actual interesting stories because so much of the stuff that's going on at the moment is the same things over and over.
Sure.
People selling their catalogues or their collections,
Yeah.
and then daft disputes. And
Yeah.
but
Oh no, there is something interesting that happened. Did you know? This show is brought to you by our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. We want to remind you guys that there is still time to get involved in the upcoming Run 16 guitars. Those include these incredible hypes available in 5 new colours. That Dragon Burst is absolutely stunning. You can also get your hands on one of the Metal X's, again available in a range of finishes. My personal pick has to be these headless Vs, absolutely outrageously cool. Imagine one of those in an 8-string. I absolutely love these. And finally, the Ando San signature model, available in 6, 7 and 8-string availability. Go and check them out at Ormsby's website right now. This show is also brought to you by our friends over at Rev Amplification, a one-stop shop for all of your tonal needs. Head on over to their website to check out their range of lunchbox amplifiers, both the D20 and G20, 20-watt amplifiers with built-in 2-notes torpedo technology so you can record direct into your computer. If that doesn't suit, you can also check out one of their highly popular G2, 3 and 4 pedals, giving you that trademark Rev tone in a stomp box. Incredible tones, I use these myself. And finally, you may notice in the back of these videos a Rev Generator 120, an absolute masterclass in modern electric guitar tones. Check it out at their site now. So as always, a huge thanks to our friends and family over at both Ormsby Guitars and Rev Amplification. You guys are awesome. Thanks to another year. We hope everyone out there in those companies is having a great Christmas. We hope that you go and support their businesses by checking out what they do, telling your friends about what they do. You know, if you can't buy a product, that's fine too. Just share some of their stuff because it's thanks to those guys that we can keep going. So yeah, go and check them out. Anything you want to add there?
just a big thanks again for the support to Perry and the guys, and Derek and the guys over at Rev. Thanks very much.
Yeah. So, okay, let's jump in with our 2 bits of fan mail this week. I'm just going to announce Album Club is officially dead now, guys. I did warn you. I warned you. I said, we're happy to do Album Club, but the only way Album Club works is if people are actually contributing. They're actually getting involved and they're actually telling us, giving us feedback on things on the album. You're knowing that people are actually listening to the album. I'm not going to sit here and sell an album to you guys and then have no one listen to it and then next week just pretend that everyone enjoyed it and then give you another one.
But they did.
That what they enjoyed it? Or,
yes,
yeah,
I can tell.
They must have done.
Yes, they've told me through the universe.
Yeah, cool. So first bit of fan mail, first bit of content comes from Phil Roof. We actually had a lot of feedback on this when we were listening when the live show was on last week because Mensch came up on Loudwire Metal Sucks. It was on described on as Mensch.
Wasn't it?
We didn't know what that meant. So
no.
Phil Roof waiting for us.
Mensch definition. This is interesting. It looks like Yiddish via North America. I've heard it in movies with Orthodox Jewish people. And the definition is a person of integrity and honour.
Yeah.
Nice.
So lots of people knew that in the comment section, but I didn't. So I
every day's a school day, Levi.
Absolutely.
Every single day.
I don't like it as a word, and the reason I don't like it as a word is because it's too close to hench.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't enjoy people saying hench all the time.
Yeah.
It was
Mensch
boring and shit.
Feels like that, even though I appreciate it isn't.
It's just not size, is it?
Yeah. So thank you very much for that bit of information, Phil. We appreciate that. Although it was an incredibly short email with a piece of information there, it was contributing and gives us a reason to keep doing a show and gives us a reason to have a fan mail thing open. So thanks, Phil.
Yes, thank you very much. And Stephen Joseph has also wrote into us, has social media killed great bands? It's an interesting headline, isn't it?
Well, it must have done, because I hear that Dorje disbanded this week.
No! Oh, well. Hi, Mike and Levi. I was wondering if you guys thought, as I do, that modern marketing techniques, social media, the proliferation of technology and modern day culture has made it impossible for any bands formed post 2005 to really achieve legendary status, so to speak. In my mind, the most recently formed band I can give that title to would probably be the Foo Fighters, as they were arguably one of the last bands to achieve superstardom in the pre-internet age. Do you mean in the context of if you're not signed to one of the big mainstream record labels who kind of dominate the charts and stuff?
It's hard to define what superstardom is, because you could probably give that probably not the same level of success as Foo Fighters, but bands like Biffy Clyro are huge, just
Mhm.
absolutely huge. And they're post that
Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon, yeah,
Imagine Dragons.
yeah,
Bands like that. Maroon 5.
yeah. Yeah, all slightly different scenes, but yeah, it's for a discussion like this, you really kind of need to define terms of what we really mean by everything. And as you can't email us back immediately, Stephen, we're going to move on. No, I'm kidding.
He's a big weirdo, isn't he?
Yeah.
It seems to me that one of the big factors in any band or artist becoming culturally iconic is maintaining an air of mystery. Whether that be in regards to their personal life, backstage antics, recording or writing process, etc. It used to be you could only gain access to your favourite musicians via magazine articles, music videos, buying their albums, or seeing them live, and as such you were always left wanting more. Is that more like the being the icon of being a celebrity rather than being a breakout band, as in where... I'm assuming what Stephen's getting at is that it's these people becoming bigger characters than their band and household names almost.
He's obviously right in that air of mystery isn't really there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Certain bands do choose to try and maintain that, and I think other bands don't, and they give you a look behind the curtain. And let's take it away from just bands, like just people in general, how people choose to put themselves across on social media. I give a lot of myself away publicly on social media and give people a look behind the curtain all the time because that's how I want to do things. And the reason I want to do things that way is because I think the trend is, I think that's what people want more. I think people want to feel involved more. So I give them that access.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you do the same thing with a band, I think people aren't craving that mystery anymore. They want the information. The reason those magazines that he referenced there used to sell is because people wanted that information. They wanted to try and get to peek behind the curtain. So if you're, I feel now, in this horrible dystopia we live in, if you're deliberately trying to shut people out from information like that, it's not received well, and they'll just go look for someone that is giving that information out.
Yeah, we definitely live in an age where information is so plentiful that it's invaluable and valueless at the same time almost. Which is really weird.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we, i.e. musicians trying to be successful, are told we have to do videos, record, upload, share. We have to video, record, upload, share, and document every facet of our lives. We're encouraged to share all of the creative process with our fans from start to finish and with all the nitty-gritty in between, and we're told to do it multiple times daily if we want success. You can't move for Instagram stories or TikToks of people sharing everything about what they do, even if most of it is completely mundane and boring. Very true. Again, just talking about like the overwhelming amount of information and content.
Yeah, and he's put that we are told to, and it's like, well, who's telling us that? No one can promise you success, and if you feel that doing those things isn't going to bring you success, you must, I would assume, must also take the opinion that not doing those things will bring you success. You have to decide what it is that you think is going to bring you success. Do that thing and see if it brings you success. Mm-hmm. I think, what we just said previously about not doing those things definitely won't bring you success in this day and age. There's really, the reason you do that is because you want a band wants an audience to not just fall in love with the music and the band. They really want you to fall in love with the people that are in the band. And that's a highly successful strategy in success, right? The reason Dorje were a band is because Rob Chapman somehow managed to gain some sort of popularity, right? And it was his personality. People buy into his products because of personality. And if you stay on that same vein, Rabia, his musical project, Tosca, like people are checking that out because of Rabia, right? It's not just, there's this random, but if they, Rabia could probably start a band similar to Tosca, similar in vibe to Tosca, but go like Ghost do and wear face coverings, etc., so no one knew who they were. And guess what? You wouldn't achieve the same level of success. So we know those things do succeed. Sorry, I'll allow you to continue.
No, that's totally fair enough. I don't be fair to say that not everybody's going to have that same thing though, because there's plenty of bands who are obviously famous outside of whatever their ventures are before.
Yeah.
Those guys are just, or maybe are good examples of smart business propelling other parts of business.
Yeah, it's the struggle is like, how do you get people to listen to your music? I think
that is definitely a fucking struggle.
Yeah, and if you have nothing, if like the reason that people should listen to your music is because it's really good, trust me, like that's valid. It is absolutely valid. But also, compared to you should check out my music because it's really good, trust me. Also you really like me as a person, and you watch all my videos. Like if
You already trust my opinion.
yeah, if Kieran starts a band, like a band that isn't like a solo project, or if he joins a band, people are going to check it out because Kieran's involved in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that the cult of personality succeeds.
As always.
Yeah.
I'm going. Stephen continues. I also think this is one of the big reasons as to why we've seen such a demise in bands in the mainstream. Social media is all about the individual, their story, and them bringing their fans along on the journey. It's all very personal and intimate, and if you're in a band, your socials have to represent the opinions and journey of multiple individuals, which is harder to do and always makes the fan connection weaker and more diluted, in my opinion. It's less personal and direct, and as such, less interesting to the younger market. It's a really interesting point.
Periphery do a good job of it.
I think there's plenty of bands that maybe have a personality of the band,
Yep.
where interactions with the band themselves is of that daft personality, and then there's certain maybe individuals that would take over regardless of who they're posting as on certain bands as well. Like
When you see
Chris from Trapped.
that's exactly what I was going to say. When you see Trapped post, it's not Trapped, it's Chris posted.
Exactly. And then there'll be other bands that maybe post stuff where you're like, it doesn't matter who it is that posted that, it's the party line or whatever, it's fitting the expected vernacular.
I think as individuals, we probably enjoy the appeal of individuals. Machine Gun Kelly could probably have a band and call it something, but he doesn't. He calls himself Machine Gun Kelly, and the act is Machine Gun Kelly. Who was that guy that we saw that we were talking about just recently who had the miming accusation because he threw his guitar when he was playing the solo? You know? Youngblood, yeah. So same idea there, right? Pushing himself as a solo artist, and that it's successful not just because of the pushing the solo thing. Of course, they're writing music that people want to listen to. I think you're probably going to have more success if you push yourself as an individual, and of course that's harder in a band. Because bands, here it is for me at least, as my musical direction is shifting so much. I think the reason bands would ever struggle to do that is because bands often put so much emphasis on the music that they play, and therefore the people that play the music. It's much harder to sell that to people with an individual because it is a collective. Unless you're going to push the guitar player in the band, it's so much easier when the music isn't the important thing, as in what's being played, but the song is the important thing, because then you can just put the front man at the front of it. And actually, real great example of that, Maroon 5. Maroon 5 are a wonderful example of that because they didn't really push Adam as being, a pop superstar in the way that we think of him now and the success that he's had now. If you go back to look at the way they were pushing themselves when Songs About Jane came out, they were very much presented as a band. That's the reason I do know the guitar player's name, because I know them from then. Compared to now, the idea of like James Valentine taking any front and center position with that band it's just not going to happen. You're not going to push James. You need to push the guy that sells, and Adam sells. So
apparently so.
Yeah, don't get it myself. Though I heard him on a track yesterday. We did our annual watch of Home Alone last night, enjoying Joe Pesci, and I turned to Melissa and said, God, and to think this man has, because he's a legend, of course, to think this man has released albums as a singer. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, Joe Pesci, he was a singer as well, so he's put albums out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay, so he put albums out in the late 60s as a singer, crooner type thing.
Right.
He put another album out in 2019, and there is a version of Stevie Wonder's My Cherie Amour on there with Adam Levine. I don't know.
I'd say Levine.
Yeah, let's go with that. Singing on it as well. So it's not good. It's not good at all. But I had to listen to that last night. So there you go.
Well, I know what I won't go and check out. but thanks for that. So Stephen continues. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on this. After the Foo Fighters, can you think of any other bands who'll be placed in the pantheon of greats? Do you think there's any way to be successful nowadays whilst retaining that air of mystery? All the best, Steve.
Yeah, I think the tough thing here is like you have given the Foo Fighters that title of the pantheon of greats, but of course, not everybody is going to agree with you on that. There are going to be younger people.
Plenty of people can be completely wrong.
Absolutely, there are going to be lots of younger people that will just go, nah, they're not that great a band. They're a dad band, and they'll hold bands that they like in just as high a regard as you would put the Foo Fighters in. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the pantheon of greats even is. Bands that have achieved the same level of success as Foo Fighters in recent years, well, it's not rock. And I don't think that's because of how rock musicians are selling themselves. It's because it's waning in popularity.
I don't know if it's waning in popularity. There's so many factors involved.
Yeah.
You think about how little airtime anything with a guitar in it gets it these days, unless it's like an acoustic guitar in a pop song.
Sure.
Then I don't think it's necessarily that the popularity is waning. I think maybe that the control of what's actually going out there on popular radios is pointing away from that.
That is very much a what came first, the chicken or the egg scenario.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I agree with that. I can't ever expect guitar to randomly, guitar-driven music to suddenly be popular when people aren't constantly being exposed to it. I have to only assume that over time what's happened is, songs have come out and song A that has lots of guitar in it is, sells well, and then song B comes out and it's got maybe 10% less guitar on it and it sells a little bit better. And over time, less and less guitar gets put on things and things start to sell, and therefore the radio starts putting more of that down your throat, and so guitar becomes a weird outside sound that people aren't all that used to anymore. A self-fulfilling prophecy, if you like. I don't think that somebody just decided, you know what, let's make guitars uncool.
It was Simon Cowell sitting atop his...
It's funny, there's probably an element of truth to that.
Throne of human skulls.
Yeah.
Right, we've had enough. His big high-waisted trousers that come out here.
Yeah, fuck that
Weird guy. Aye. Thanks very much for the question, Stephen. Hopefully that gave you some insight to what we think on it. I don't know if there's really a TLDR to that, because there was quite a lot in your question.
Yeah. My TLDR on that is, the reason the Foo Fighters are great is because they focus on... Dave's a great songwriter.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of the bands that we think about focus less on the song and focus more on the music. And this was something that, I just completely had missed the point on myself for years and years and years. Growing up listening to and being influenced by guys like Paul Gilbert and Mr. Big. Sure, they write great songs, but I would, when I think of the song Colorado Bulldog, I'm not going to talk to you about the song. I'm going to go, oh yeah, and that guitar bit at the intro and all that solo, etc. And like my mind had been warped around the music, the execution of the song, rather than the song itself. And I think that if you want a Foo Fighters level successful band again, you need somebody that's coming along writing songs that people absolutely love and then dress up with as much guitar as you want. I think a great song is a great song regardless of whether or not there's guitar in it. And I think the Foo Fighters are a wonderful example of that. I think The Pretender is one of the great songs of the last 10 years. I really love that song. But I'm sure there's like a postmodern jukebox version of it, maybe. Probably.
It would not surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. That's a song that is going to survive regardless of whether or not it's being smashed with guitars.
Yeah,
because it's a great song.
Aye, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Good songwriting can transcend any instrumentation.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that something like Master of Puppets by Metallica isn't good songwriting. It's just songwriting that's led by the instruments and the instrumental side of things. I think if you tried to do a postmodern jukebox version of Master of Puppets, it will work because the whole point of an arranger when you're arranging like that is you arrange it in a way that it does work. But it's nowhere near. It's going to work nowhere near as well as something like The Pretender is, because Pretender is a song and Master of Puppets is driven by instrumental skills. I think we can use that as a segue.
Go for it.
So speaking of Metallica...
Metallica Day declared in San Francisco.
Jesus Christ.
17th, so 2 days ago.
Yeah.
In advance of the 40th anniversary celebration this weekend, yesterday, Thursday, December the 16th, was declared Metallica Day in the band's hometown of San Francisco, California. The proclamation was issued by Gavin Newsom, the besieged governor of California. Bestowing the honour upon the band, Mayor London Breed said, they're part of the fabric of the community. They've touched people's lives for generations. When you talk about San Francisco, you talk about cable cars and then you talk about Metallica.
Is that true?
I've never... Okay. And on behalf of the city and
the Golden
county...
Gate Bridge?
No, Metallica. Alcatraz? Nah, Metallica.
Yeah. Tech? Like big tech?
Nah, Metallica. And on behalf of the city and county of San Francisco, I want to officially declare today Metallica Day. Boo, who cares? Fucking hell, no bother, Lars.
I absolutely love the first sentence of this. So Lars, his first comment is...
We didn't start in San Francisco. Okay,
Thanks for the honour. Go fuck yourself. Stop trying to claim us. You going to go on?
Yes, sorry. We didn't start in San Francisco. We started in Southern California, and we came up to San Francisco the first time in 1982 in September and played at the Stone and subsequently played at the Old Waldorf a couple of times. And we done 9 months in Los Angeles, and we did not belong. The reason we all wanted to be in a band was to fit in something greater than ourselves, and we absolutely did not fit into anything in Los Angeles, Sunset Strip, Hollywood, any of that. We felt like complete outsiders. When we came up here in September '82 and we started playing, we played 4 shows that fall. Like I said, at the Stone, the Old Waldorf, and the Mabuhay Gardens. And we were embraced and we were taken in, and we felt so welcomed and so loved up here. There was a sense of music community for people like ourselves who felt like outsiders, who liked things that were not in the mainstream, and that has obviously been a significant part of San Francisco's history. So coming up here in 1982, standing on the shoulder of the history of culture, the beat poets and the hippie movement and the music and Bill Graham and everything that San Francisco represented, we were just embraced instantly. We felt so welcomed, so loved, and we felt finally like we belonged someplace. And it's been 39 years of feeling that sense of belonging, to not just a geographical place, San Francisco, the Bay Area, Northern California, whatever you want to call it, but it's also a state of mind. You belong to what San Francisco represents. We've been so proud to shout from every rooftop all over the world at every press conference and every mic that's been shoved in our faces for the better part of 40 years how much San Francisco gave us an identity and gave us, like I said, a sense of belonging. And we fly the flag proud for San Francisco and the Bay Area all over the world on our t-shirts, but we are so proud of our connection to everything that San Francisco represents and to all the wonderful people, to obviously the great physical and geographical elements here and the history and the cable cars and the giants and the warriors, and the list goes on. Those of you who know our story know that we've been fortunate enough to travel all over the world. We've played all 7 continents, and there are many, many wonderful places on this planet where music, compared to when we started, Latin America, Southeast Asia, places you wouldn't expect 30, 40 years ago you could bring rock and roll to, they have also now embraced us. But our hearts and our souls and our sense of belonging will always be in San Francisco. And Metallica and San Francisco will always be 2 words which are synonymous with each other, even though that's 3 words.
Yep.
Fucking hell, man.
Well, I have to say, from reading that, Lars is always given a hard time, and rightfully so. I think he's I was going to say a bumbling idiot, but that's unfair because that's really eloquent.
It was nice. It was a bit long-winded, but at the same time, he kind of covered a lot of ground. So
yeah,
credit where credit's due. But
so there you go. There's
Metallica
Day. There's a Metallica Day in San Francisco. What will happen on that day?
People will say yay, and oh yeah, and put Metallica on. Is that? Like
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a weird public holiday, or like
what's police brutality like in San Francisco?
I don't know.
Cannot stop the battery.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's do something funny then. So, video surfaces of Tool's drummer Danny Carey's arrest. The drummer is facing charges of misdemeanor and assault stemming from an incident at Kansas City Airport. I didn't watch this because I don't really like Tool, so I don't really care.
I didn't watch it either. I just laughed at the idea of him getting in a fight, and then like, did you see the mugshot of him?
I didn't. Is the mugshot in here? Oh yeah. Okay.
Look at the stadium, man.
I'll bring it up for people. So
it's
they can...
pretty ridiculous, to be honest.
Oh.
Fucking, the only problem being it's TMZ. Disgusting rag. Look at him.
Oops.
He looks happy. I'll give him that one.
So let's
give us a quick read down.
Briefly run the story.
Sure, so this was on a consequence of sound. Earlier today, which would have been December the 14th, so 5 days ago, earlier today we reported that Danny Carey was arrested on Sunday night, December the 12th, for an alleged assault at the Kansas City airport. Now video of his arrest has surfaced, showing the Tool drummer getting into it with the officers. Unfortunately, the video is not a good look for Carey, who berates the officers and tells the person filming to videotape all of this. Showing your age, son. The drummer, wearing a Kansas City Chiefs jersey and perhaps attending the NFL team's home game against the Raiders earlier that day, keeps asking one of the officers, "Who did I assault?" and exclaiming, "I just want to get the fuck out of here." The footage then cuts to 2 officers pinning him against a glass wall outside the airport, with one officer ordering Carey not to get too close to them. The officers then cuff Carey, with one screaming, "Quit resisting now." Although it's hard to hear, TMZ reports that at one point in the video, Carey tells the officers he's the drummer from Tool. Of course he did.
We can stop there.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to get you out. You know what? In certain parts of the world, namely my land, being the drummer from Tool would get you arrested just for being the drummer from Tool.
Aye.
Still don't get it. Never got it at all. Sorry, guys. I know there's people out there that'll be raging about that, but what can I say or do? I feel like did I write a Premier Guitar article on Adam Jones at one point? I feel like that's something I did. How do you feel about Tool?
I don't mind to be honest. I don't listen to them all that often, but when I go into the mood for it, I'll put it on, and I have enjoyed watching 2017. You did so. I really enjoyed their music videos because they're so out there. But
if you wanna learn to play like Tool,
watch Gear's video.
Guess I can do this. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Does that say desperately fast? Moderately fast? I was like, what? Desperately fast? I've never seen that before.
I've not heard these in years.
Or running Tando.
I'm enjoying this. I wonder what that's inspired by. This is my job we're laughing at here.
Yep.
No, thank you.
I don't know.
It just never was my cup of tea.
No, that's fair enough. Totally fair enough. And
So
yet you wrote an article on it, but then again,
I don't pick the articles I write. I just get told what to write. I realised I just brought up all the stories there. Everyone saw everything that we're going to talk about. I've spoiled everything.
Oh no, he's ruined it. Nah, I don't think you've ruined anything.
I would like to say I'm going to edit that out, but it's just not going to happen, is it?
Nah.
So let's briefly talk about Kerry King.
Aye. Well, you may as well ruin
Just because I remember
the rest of the show.
Yeah. I remember. Was it maybe 2 months ago? He definitely said that he feels that he stopped Slayer too soon. And I'm sure he said, especially seeing as he's now got the what's the word I'm looking for? Especially the signature with Dean. Yeah, signature with Dean.
Which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Just so I can put it out there.
So he definitely was on record just recently saying, I think Slayer, maybe I stopped Slayer too soon. But he's now gone on record saying, I don't think Slayer are ever going to play again. Now, is it just me? Or does this feel like drunk white girl going, I just don't think I'm pretty enough for boys. I'm just so ugly and disgusting. Just hoping all our friends are going to go, no, you're beautiful. Kerry, I'm not going to tell you to start up Slayer again. It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's quite as desperate for attention in that regard. I think he thinks he's doing some sort of PR masterclass. Or not PR, sorry. A marketing masterclass where it would be like, you know how many artists or how often it happens where bands will say, nah, we're not doing anymore. That's us. We broke up. No more. And it never stops.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, well, Slayer, I tell you what, Kerry, Slayer are absolutely going to play us again. And the reason they're going to play again is because when you go out there and start a new band called The Kings or whatever, right? Sure, people are going to come and see them because, you know, Slayer fans are going to want to see what Kerry King's up to.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realise that you're not going to be able to merchandise it in the same way that you can merchandise the Slayer name, you're instantly going to be turned off by it. So let's read the story.
There is that there, aye. So this is a Metal Sucks article, so I apologise if it's written like shit, by Vince Neilstein. Will they or won't they ever play again live? Following the conclusion of their farewell tour in 2019, the question is likely to dog the members of Slayer until they die. Well, the answer remains unclear. They will, of course, because money. This is much clearer. The last holdout will be Tom Morello, the one member said to be most bullish on shutting the Slayer ship down. Kerry King recently said Slayer quit too early and Gary Holt agreed, but the way King worded a response to a recent interview question lends credence to the theory he's not the one who ultimately decides if Slayer will play again. Speaking to Metal Hammer, King was asked if Slayer would perform if they had the opportunity to do another Big Four show. The question wasn't out of left field, they'd already been talking about a prior Big Four shows. His response, I would, but the way that I'm moving forward is I don't think Slayer are ever going to play again. There's no business of me playing by myself. Haha. I would. The way that I'm moving forward is there's no business of me playing by myself. Though King was short with his words, those words are telling. He'd do it if he could, but he can't because he doesn't call the shots. I mean, that's guessing.
I'm just looking.
Innit?
I'm just looking for audio. Is there audio?
Don't think so.
No, so
because you can't really tell if that's where the inflections were.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get you. There's tone missing.
He's then gone on to say
for context.
Yeah, he's italicized the I here in this quote. I would. We don't know if he said I would. He might have just said I would.
I definitely see it happening.
Yeah. So feels like lazy journalism, but you know, Good for you, Kerry. Slayer will absolutely play again.
Even if it's not Slayer, the very last paragraph is King, meanwhile, has been working on a yet-to-be publicly christened new outfit that's heavily rumoured to also include Pantera frontman Phil Anselmo and Exodus guitarist Gary Holt. Former Testament Exodus drummer Paul Bostaph, who, like Holt, was a member of Slayer's final lineup, has already confirmed his involvement. So essentially, you're
Slayer with a different singer.
Aye.
Yeah.
And no announced bass player yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be interesting to see, because I imagine that what would be most, profitable for the band would be for Kerry to acquire the rights to use the Slayer brand for it. Because I can totally see that going out and legally speaking being able to call itself Slayer. Because as Slayer was last put together, 3 of the 4 members are there. So
even if they didn't want to do that, they would still be able to probably play some of the songs as Phil Anselmo and the Bastard Sons and whatever his other bands are called do as well with Pantera stuff. So,
so not interested.
So disinterested we mentioned them.
I know I talk about so many things on the show that I'm not interested in. Speaking about things I'm totally not interested in, watch Tom Morello demonstrate just how close his MXR Power 50 overdrive pedal gets to his trademark Marshall amp sound. And what did you say?
No, I don't think I will. Nobody else on the planet needs another JCM in a box clone. It just doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, it's a signature product, so he's gonna push it. I mean, is it a signature product? Yeah.
Yeah, it's his.
Yeah. So of course he's gonna push
I didn't trust teachers. I didn't trust anyone. So buy my things, because you should trust me. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, all profits from this pedal will be donated to Feed the Hungry. Tom, just go away.
It's not even, I don't want Tom to go away. I love his music. I just want him to stop going against where the ideals that people held him up against.
Well, do you love his music? Like Night Watchman?
No, I love Audioslave and Rage Against the Machine.
Sure.
There you go. Anything else can go in the bin.
Yeah. Audioslave was not a particularly political band, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. And early Rage Against the Machine, sure, you can totally get on board with all of that. But yeah, when he was making that music, it was coming from an authentic place. But as the years have gone by, like that Tom Morello is dead. We have this Tom Morello now.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I
But
rage
yes,
about him all the time. No, thank you.
Regardless of any of these things, I think the next thing that we're going to get is a Tom Morello signature cable that when you unplug it for the guitar, it's got a flat pad on it so that you can do the solo for, is it Testify?
Yeah, I'm surprised there aren't more Tom Morello signature products. He's going to be this generation feels like the wrong way of putting it. But this decade's Kerry King. More and more Tom Morello signature products as he gets older and older and realizes, fuck, it's really hard to release music and sell that, so let's just sell things with products on, sell things with our faces on, never realizing that his drive is selling things and making money. Who would have thought it?
Capitalism strikes again. And just go tick that off the bingo cards as well. You get a wee song at me and everything.
Okay, so another, that's like two for one, complaining about capitalism and singing.
See if I just said fucking Tories at the end,
yeah.
they'd be in trouble.
So Bruce Springsteen sells his music catalogue in a massive deal. Never really been one for Bruce's music.
Nah, I mean, like quite a lot of musicians that I'm not that bothered about, you can't deny their popularity and their place in certain history and their influence in music. Nancy's been listening to hundreds of Sam Fender recently, and he basically just wants to be Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Really cool, like his music's great.
Sure.
But the instrumentation, the way it's been put together, you're like, oh, aye, cool, right, so you've definitely listened to Born to Run a million times.
Yeah.
But I'm not that arsed about him, but can't deny he's obviously a big name. Bruce Springsteen has sold the music rights to Sony Music Entertainment in what may well be the biggest transaction ever struck for a single artist's body of work, according to 2 people briefed on the deal. No public announcement's been made about the transaction, which closed in recent weeks, and specific terms are unknown, but its value may exceed $500 million, according to the 2 people who spoke anonymously because they were not authorised to discuss the matter.
We don't need to go further than that.
That's
a lot of money.
Yep, nobody's going to say anything, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a wild amount of money. And again, totally see why Bruce has done it. His rights to his music aren't that useful to him. They're certainly not $500 million useful to him. He's not got forever left. $500 million will go a long fucking way.
I've been watching Billions on TV. Did you ever watch that?
No.
No, it's pretty good so far, man. But like, there's a bit in that where they're negotiating, and somebody's like, "No, there's no chance. I don't have a price. There's nothing you could offer me would be whatever." And he says $1 billion, and the guy's like, "Is that your actual offer?" And he's like, "No, but I told you a fucking price."
Yeah. Everyone has a price, and I've been the first to say that my integrity is not for sale. It's absolutely not for sale under any circumstances. But everyone has a price. I don't know what my price is, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've not got a price.
No,
It would be more than anyone would ever be willing to pay.
that's it.
But yeah, if you offer me $1 billion to shill fucking TTM guitars, thank you.
What? Oh, that's quite a scary thought.
I know. Yeah. But that such is the life of the YouTuber. I was thinking about this actually. I made a lot of comments about recently saying how I like the keyboard stuff on Anderson's website, saying that they do a good job of all that. But actually, on reflection, while they do a great job of the presentation of things and really engaging content, they are ultimately, when they're doing shootouts between products, they're doing shootouts of the products that they sell. They're not going out of their way to get in competing products that they don't happen to sell, So when they're testing...
Why would they?
Well, they wouldn't. Like, obviously they wouldn't. But the consumer doesn't think like that. When a consumer sees somebody, head-to-head in a few products, they don't go, are they giving me the best opportunity here to see what's the best thing for the job? Or are they giving me... Is this really just a glorified sales pitch?
Of course it's a sales pitch, but they're also giving you the information that you want, which is what's the best that I can get for my needs, based in the context of what they actually stock. They're not going to go out their way and go, right, cool, we don't stock Nords, so we're going to show you a Nord against our stock in case you go and buy one and you get the sale elsewhere.
Well, yeah, but I think that's actually where we differ then, because if I was in that scenario, that's absolutely what I'd do, because it brings more credence to the stock that you actually have. Here's the Nordin, and we'll compare it to all of the stock that we sell and see which one sounds best, because we're confident that you're going to pick the stock that we sell. That's why we sell it, type thing.
But it's not best, it's what best suits you.
Yeah.
So if you have a product, or you don't stock the product that best suits somebody, it's not in your interest to advertise it.
Yeah.
But that Anderton's isn't meant to be some sort of impartial gear shootout page.
Sure, but I think that's why I brought it up. It's not just Anderton's, just YouTubers in general. When they talk to you about gear, they and the integrity thing, and everybody's got a price. Like we talk about what we have access to.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go out of our way to, so you've almost never getting a completely impartial opinion on things like this. Okay, we'll move on from that.
If you recognise your bias, it's as close to impartial as you can get.
Yeah.
Isn't it really?
Let's just talk about tours. So Guns N' Roses, Kiss, Slipknot among 2021's highest grossing tours, which is impressive because nobody's been able to go and fucking tour.
I was going to say, they have 2 shows each or something.
Yeah.
Polestar, the people who keep track of how much money the live entertainment industry makes, has released their annual list of the year's top 100 grossing tours. This is an especially big deal in 2021, giving the paucity of touring in 2020. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know that word. The band/numbers relevant to the world of metal and hard rock are below. You can see all the stats here. Anyway.
I feel like I'll just bring up the stats.
Aye, let's do it.
Because this is going to, I imagine looking at this is going to tell us how the metal bands did, but it would be nice to see
where they fall on the list.
Yeah, where they fall on the list and other things. So,
oh, fucking hell, there's quite a lot then.
Wow, they keep a lot of stats.
You're not joking. You might want to bring this up so people can see this crazy shit.
Okay, so this is quite impressive, actually.
Turns out Polestar are quite significant with the amount of research they do. And
yeah, you can look at the top 100 tours, top 100 promoters, top 200 arenas, top 200 clubs, like serious, yeah. So what are we thinking? Top 100 worldwide tours in terms of ticket sales?
I go for it. Rolling Stones, number 1. 115 million grossed. Average ticket price, $223. I no wonder, you robbing bastards.
I have all the time in the world for Polestar now. This is serious data.
Yes, very much so.
That's wild. Yeah, Harry Styles.
The Rolling Stones one, what impresses me the most is 11 cities, 12 shows.
Yeah.
Compared to Harry Styles, who took the next amount, which is 30 million less, and did 39 shows in 30 different cities.
Yeah.
Look at the average gross of the Rolling Stones shows. 9.5 million. Fuck off, man.
Yeah, that's
wild.
That's really wild. So looking through this for metal bands,
Guns N' Roses, number 7.
quite impressive.
I
I'm surprised to see Fish there.
think Fish has still got quite a mental
Evidently,
cult following.
yeah.
Maroon 5, number 14. Funny we mentioned them. Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin were on tour together. Fantastic. You know what? There's quite a lot of old names on here, which
Dave
is
Chappelle's
interesting.
listed on here, so that it's not just music. It's
Clearly.
Events,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Just
and,
tours.
And I guess that would mean that Dave Chappelle is the most successful comedian in the world in 2021. That's,
in terms of top selling tours,
yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's
Unless
crazy.
there's someone in here, I don't know who this is. This could be a comedian. So actually, this could also be a comedian. So I'm gonna take that back.
I wonder.
Well, it might not be the case. Not a whole lot.
This
of
is
metal on it.
worldwide though, so there's every chance these are just bands for different countries that haven't quite broken out here. Andrea Bocelli's above Machine Gun Kelly. It nearly rhymed as well.
I see Eric Clapton there. We'll be talking about him very shortly.
God, he's a prick. Number 48, Korn. Korn are still pulling in big money. That's mad. Megadeth and Lamb of God at 61.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide this and go back and see what other categories are, because that's actually really interesting. I think that's extremely interesting. Didn't expect to see that. So, what do we think the top
10 live streamers?
Top 10 live streamers. All right, fine. I mean, I don't know what any of the. Did I just click the wrong thing?
I think you clicked everything.
Top 10 live streams. Oh, so these are like event live streams.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Rather than individuals. Top 20 stadiums.
Golden
Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. There you go. It's come full circle. So for the stats on Guns N' Roses and the like, Guns N' Roses number 7 worldwide. Total gross of $47.3 million. It's a lot of money. $134 per ticket. Each show average tickets 15,000. Total tickets 351,000 tickets. With each show having an average gross of $2 million.
That's fucking silly money, innit?
Change.
Silly money.
Kiss, the Knotfest Road show, so the 42nd best-selling tour. Yeah, cool. Korn, Megadeth, Shinedown. Wow.
Not really metal.
Primus.
I love that Primus are still up there.
That's actually thinking about that, it's still extremely impressive. That
Number
Primus
69 worldwide as well.
And, we were talking about the Foo Fighters earlier, but Foo Fighters are on here, but they're at number 85. So that means Primus had a more successful touring year than Foo Fighters. Of course, throw this all out the window, because during we have to...
Foo Fighters played 3 shows in 3 cities.
Okay, yep, all right.
Primus played 38 shows in 37 cities.
Yeah, so I guess it's probably worth looking at the average gross for a show. So the average gross on a Foo Fighters show is 1.5 million, whereas the average gross on a Primus show is 183,000. So yeah, what I was saying there before you rightfully pointed that out is, let's see how this goes on a year when these bands are actually free to go out and tour as much as they possibly want.
Stone Temple Pilots, who are they touring with?
No idea.
Because the frontman's dead.
And what's up with this?
Scott Weiland, he's gone.
Yeah, what's up with this number question worldwide? Who knows? Don't care.
That was a weird one. Why would you put that in the list if you don't know where they are in the top 100?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our main story. I'm running 2 stories together on this one. I've not brought the other one up, but the other one is the Dean KDH going after a
protecting your IP and not protecting it with good integrity and good business.
Yeah, and the reason I'm ramming these together is because it may potentially, and I don't want to do this, but in the interest of intellectual honesty and all that, I might be able to cut Clapton a little bit of a break on this one, but we'll see. So let's read the story.
In certain contexts, I would agree with you. But so this was reported in Guitar World. Eric Clapton successfully sues 55-year-old German widow for listing a bootleg CD on eBay for $11. The woman, referred to in filings as Gabrielle P., we'll call her Gabby, will have to pay court costs for both herself and Clapton, reportedly totaling almost $4,000. A 55-year-old German widow named as Gabby has reportedly been mandated to pay for court costs for both herself and Eric Clapton after the electric guitar player successfully sued her over the sale of a live bootleg CD on eBay. So I'm just going to keep reading, in fact.
Yeah.
According to the German newspaper Bild, the bootleg, Live USA, was purchased by the defendant's late husband at a department store more than 30 years ago. Gabby then went on to list the album on eBay for $9.95, $11 in July, in which Clapton, citing the illegal nature of the album, sent to court an affidavit. The Dusseldorf Regional Court ruled in Clapton's favour, and yesterday, December 15th, rejected Gabby's appeal on the initial ruling, saying that the fact that she neither bought the CD herself initially nor knew at the time listed it on eBay that it was a bootleg were immaterial. Gabby now reportedly faces either a €250,000 fine or 6 months in prison if she continues her efforts to sell the album. It's not the first time in recent months that Slowhand has found himself in the news for reasons other than his music. But will I continue?
Yeah.
Aye.
Let's give him a tough time before I... I'm not going to jump to his defence, but,
You're going to be as close to impartial as you can
fair,
be.
yeah.
Blues guitar veteran Robert Cray told the Washington Post back in November that he ended his 35-year friendship with Clapton over the latter's likening of COVID-19 related lockdowns to slavery in the 2020 song he recorded with Van Morrison, Stand and Deliver. I'd just rather not associate with somebody who's on the extreme and being so selfish, Cray said. We started playing a music that wasn't particularly popular to start off with at the time we started playing. We've gained some notoriety and I'm fine with that, but I surely don't need to hang out with Eric Clapton for that to continue. Ooh!
Bit of drama. So when I was initially sent this story, and loads of people sent me this story this week, my initial reaction was, well, this is interesting because why on earth did she fight this? Why didn't she just say, okay, because surely a cease and desist would come first. But it appears that because it was in Germany, maybe not, right? Maybe in Germany you don't need to, request that something is taken down. You literally just file with the courts, and maybe she had to defend herself essentially. If that were the case, shitty of Eric Clapton and extremely shitty of his legal team. But I think that's kind of the key thing to talk about here, right? This is not Eric Clapton, is it? Let's be fair. This isn't Eric Clapton that's done this. This is the legal team representing Eric Clapton, and there's no way that Eric is looking over all of these individual things. There is no way, mate, that Eric Clapton is looking over these individually.
I don't think he's sitting in the house fucking
scrolling eBay.
I don't think, or he doesn't have a letters or bot set up on his computer or anything like that. But I don't think that he's completely ignorant of it. I have no doubt whatsoever he's gave the nod, or at least been told what's happening.
No, he'll have a legal team, and it probably, to be fair, won't have even been done strictly on his behalf, right? Because he will have a deal with both a record label and a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So these actions will be being taken upon by the record labels and publishers, the publisher in this case, right? That will be acting. Someone will be acting on behalf of the publisher who is acting on behalf of Eric Clapton. Now, I totally get, and this is the right story. It's still the right story to put Eric Clapton's name on this, because ultimately it's being done in his name. But I don't think for a second that he will have called for these actions. And I think right now he'll be having a panic about all of these fucking stories, going, I look like an asshole here.
If there's one thing, I was going to say, if there's one thing I think about Eric Clapton, he's probably not bothered what other people think about him.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's actually completely fair. Because ultimately, not ultimately, I'm not going to defend him at all. You shouldn't be selling bootlegs on eBay. It's a risky strategy, and it's one of those things. Like, if you do something that is illegal, whether or not you know it's illegal or not, you kind of have to just sort of accept the consequences, and you can't just go, oh yeah, but usually people are always doing this, so it's not that big a problem.
No, I think the difference between that as a legal argument and this CD was bought literally in a shop by my now deceased husband, and I put it on eBay, not looking to profit on anything, and now you're taking me to court for $4,000 like that. Nah, that to me is just fucking ridiculous. I get what you're saying, that the ignorance of the law is not defence.
Yeah,
that is a fair point, right? But it's not ignorance of the law. It's not understanding that a CD was a bootleg because it was bought from a store.
Well, the most important thing in justice is making sure that things are made right.
Yes,
right?
reformative justice.
Things are being made just, right? And in this scenario, the right call is not to fine this woman €250,000 or to send her to prison, or even need to deal with these court costs, right? The just here is contacting her, saying, can you remove that and destroy it? Remove that from sale and destroy it, or legal action.
Yeah.
And it's I can't believe that if that had happened, it would have gone to this. because we're talking about her missing out on a €10 sale. You know, that's so
Definitely.
dumb.
That wasn't put on there with any intention of
Yeah.
usurping his fucking profits in some way, removing money from Eric Clapton's greedy hands.
But the reason I bring this up, and the reason I wanted to talk about the Dean situation, is obviously KDH put up his video, and for those of you that haven't seen it, essentially what happened with Dean was their lawyers had been dealing with somebody that was selling counterfeit, not strictly trademark infringing Deans would probably be a fairer way of putting things.
Yes.
Using the ML shape and using the shapes that they own, the
Razorback.
not
the Razorback, the Stealth.
Stealth, that's the one, yeah.
Even though they don't own the Stealth shape,
Yeah,
that's washed up. That's, again,
Aye.
they are versions of ML shapes.
Yeah. So they've been dealing with someone and making sure that somebody can sell one, but just recently their lawyers sent off sent takedown notices to somebody that had posted pictures of one of these guitars that they own on Instagram, claiming copyright infringement. Now, there's no copyright infringement on a picture of something. You can't say, that's my product, I own the photo. That's just not how they work. Well, that's an infringement of my copyright, therefore I own the photo.
No, your first sentence I disagree with, because that's literally NFTs.
What was my first sentence?
That you can't copyright an image. That's essentially what an NFT is.
I definitely wasn't saying that you can't copyright an image. You absolutely can copyright
a photo
an image,
or something,
but it's not the content of the photo. It's the photo itself.
Okay,
yeah.
Right, yep.
So it's the taking of the photo. You can't say like, oh, that's a photo. Well, in this example, you can't say that's a photo of my guitar, therefore I own the photo. Like, no, the person who took the photo owns the photo. Sounds like I've got animals climbing around in here, and I actually do. Yeah.
Was it young Michael?
They took down. They sent takedown notifications to Instagram and also to Facebook because he has videos of him playing this guitar. And KDH rightfully pointed out that this is nonsense, just absolute nonsense.
So it's a dangerous precedent.
Yeah, you can't. If we look at Slash is a great example, right? Well known for playing a Derrig Les Paul for many, many years of his career. That original Les Paul that he played for years and years and years was essentially, legally speaking, a counterfeit Gibson, right? That doesn't make every photo that is appeared in illegal. That doesn't make every single video that he has appeared in using that guitar illegal.
It would only be a problem if Gibson decided they were against it, but because they can sell it as a Gibson using Slash's image in history, then it's fine.
Yeah. Now, I do recommend people go and check out KDH's video because he makes some other really interesting points, essentially pointing out that Dean are contradicting their own defense against Gibson by taking this issue with people. I wanted to get involved in this story, and I wanted to get involved in it and show my growth as a person. Because years ago, I would have just done what Kalen did, right? I don't do that anymore. I don't rage time anymore unless I really, really, really have to.
I don't know if Kalen's was a rage time.
No, it was a great video.
It's fantastic. I really, really enjoy his approach. And the reason I say that is, like, I think the outcome of your rage time videos and Kalen's videos are often the same. It's public awareness of things that have happened with your opinion on it as well, after a bit of analysis and as much declaration of bias as you can get. So it's journalistically, it has integrity. I think the main difference being just the delivery. And I know that Kalen spends a lot of time making sure that he's at least, that he has reached out to anybody he does a story on to get their take on it as well. And I like his takes. I like the way he goes about it. He's very eloquent.
He's fantastic. Well, he makes really informative videos.
Yes.
I think the goal of his videos, aside from clicks, like we all want clicks, the goals of his videos are to inform you about something and maybe instill some change by the what comes from people being informed about something. Whereas my goal was to inform you about something, but actually when you watch any of my Rage Time videos, you have to understand that one of my primary motivations is to make you laugh, right? And I do want to draw attention to something, and I want to instill change, but not necessarily because loads of people have seen the thing, but because the person that the content is about feels silly, right? The person feels like I've made enough fun of them, and that I've ridiculed them enough that they're like, I should really do something about this because this isn't a nice feeling, right? It's a really immature way of dealing with things, but that's my sense of humor, and ripping into people like that, I'm all about it, right? But I've grown. I don't do that anymore. So in this scenario, what I thought I'd do is I'd just email Evan. So Evan is the CEO of Gibson. Sorry, not of Gibson, of Dean. And the reason I thought I'd email him is because I've got his email address, and I've got his email address because I emailed him about the Dimebag story to get some information on the Dimebag story. He was very resistant to my emails initially. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this video. The guy contacted me. He's been harassing me all weekend." And I was like, with respect, if we just throw away the harassment and the issues you take with Kaylin's video, you have to acknowledge that what's happened here is you are currently suing a guy, or not suing a guy, but taking legal action against someone. Even a cease and desist is still technically legal action, right?
That's the first step.
It's a stressful thing when you get a letter from a lawyer. I've got enough of them. So you are still doing that because somebody with 400 subscribers played a guitar that infringes on your copyrights. At most, he was going to be exposed to a few hundred people. Kaylin's video has been up for an hour at this point, and this story has already been seen by 5,000 people. So already, this is 10 times worse than if you just let it go. I said in a few hours, it's going to be 100 times worse than that. And when more people start picking up on this story, it's going to be thousands and thousands of times worse than just letting this go.
Yes.
Now, Evan, I want to say I don't like him, and a part of me doesn't like him, and I think there's a lot of reason to not like him. I think when you look at Dave Mustaine leaving and Rusty Cooley leaving and Michelangelo leaving, like there's clearly a lot of issues that people take with the way Dean is being run, and ultimately that's on his head. Must be on his head. If he could have appealed to these people to stay, he would have done so. But I think nobody has faith in him. When you follow the guy on Twitter and watch what he does on Twitter, he's more interested in talking about cryptocurrency than he is about talking about guitars, right? He's a younger guy that has essentially inherited a business, okay? And that's fine. He doesn't care, right? And I think there's a lot of arrogance in this, like, well, you know, I prefer, like, I'm interested in your opinion, thanks very much for your opinion, but ultimately we've got to run a business over here and like got to do the right things, etc., etc. Well, after a little bit of time, I tried to express to him and say, Evan, I really do want you to understand here, I'm not writing you this email because I'm coming after you. Like, if I was coming after you, I would have just made a video. I'm writing you on this because I care, right? I want the best for all parties in a scenario like this. I want, if this is if something that wasn't intended to happen has ended up happening here, and something can be done about it and made better for Dean and made better for the guy in this scenario, then it's a win-win all round. The only people that is currently winning in this scenario are your lawyers who are billing you, right? Yeah, so after a little bit back and forward, he left it a day. It got to the point where I was like, look, I'm not going to email about this anymore. I've registered my issues with it. You should probably think about it. Probably think about, you know, even if you win this in a legal setting, you are going to be smashed in the court of public opinion. And you've been doing really well in the court of public opinion recently because, you know, obviously Gibson have been trying to ram you, and then Rita Haney's been trying to ram you as well. And I think you've got public on your side. This is going to undo a lot of that. He did message me back actually a couple of days ago and say that he's thought more about what I'd had to say, and now it's turned into an international incident. He is now going to be taking a more active role in looking into things like this when they happen. He said, ultimately, I have a team of lawyers, as any big company does, and I trust them to go out and do what needs to be done, trust them to go out and do the right thing, and I shouldn't have to sign off on everything they do. And on reflection, it seems that they've just gone way, way overboard on this one.
Oh, of course, it's litigious action for the sake of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you are a lawyer on retainer, you need to fucking do something in order to, you know, create some billable hours. Your retainer isn't enough to live off of. Well, it is, because retainers are fucking ridiculous amounts of money for lawyers. But the point is, I firmly believe in this Clapton situation.
Ironic, you'll be getting rinsed so they can go and buy PRSs and Gibsons, in it.
I feel in fair. I feel in this scenario, like Clapton is in the same way that I went to Evan. Like, Evan is ultimately responsible. It wasn't Evan's actions that caused the thing that happened with Dean. And in this, I don't believe that it was Eric that caused this.
But I would say that their own inaction or lack of participation and oversight to these things, and putting too much trust in people who have got potential conflicts of interest when it comes to running these things, is not good. Yeah, and I don't want to say I think. I hope that what Evan has said to me on this matter is going to result in the lawyers backing off and apologising to the guy. I hope that that's what's going to happen, because that would be the right thing. And I hope that it's the same in this Eric Clapton situation. I hope that that's going to happen. Fingers crossed. I don't think the Clapton one's going to do much. They've already fucking ruled that the court of the woman needs to pay the costs and shit. If Clapton really was just bothered about taking it down. Yeah.
Her lawyer has said that that they're going to appeal it again. So so I did see that. So there is still potential for this story to, you know, head in a different direction.
Yeah.
I would like to think a story like this is right, because I think drawing enough attention to this, creating enough bad PR for someone like Eric Clapton, is going to result in change. And I think KDH's video was fantastic for the same reason.
Mhm.
Evan wasn't interested in what I had to say until KDH's video got, a shit ton of views and other people started talking about it. I saw that Davidas...
He was commenting on it about
trying to buy one.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Aye, that's right.
Trying to buy one of these imitation guitars, and he'll use it on every single video he has moving forward just to piss Dean off. And that guy's got 1.6 million subscribers. Like,
He's very active.
Evan and these old guys that work in guitar companies need to understand, right, that the youth are your customers moving forward. And people like this with influence can make or fucking break your company. Don't ever be so arrogant that you think it doesn't matter what the internet has to say about what it is that you're doing, right?
Yes, the internet is not individual.
Yeah.
The internet is a massive,
Yeah.
unwielding collective.
Yeah. You need to have people on side. Eric in this scenario probably doesn't, because Eric's audience isn't the internet. It's old people that are going to die with him. So he probably doesn't need to do anything about this. But ultimately, this is nothing to worry about, because even if her second appeal is rejected and there's no option, the internet will pay the fine for her. There'll be a GoFundMe to pay her fine.
But even then, that's still a miscarriage of justice in my mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Why should Eric Clapton not have to suffer some sort of financial hit for just being a shitty person? Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Gabby's solicitors had thought, we'll take this to court, because any lawyer with any sense is going to see this and go, what a fucking crock of shite.
Yeah.
Under any sort of common sense application of the law, you would see that this is just nonsense. This isn't someone who's running a counterfeiting ring and trying to sell off thousands of copies of something they've bootlegged from a site.
Lawyers don't fucking care, though, do they? They're not going to look at it and go, oh, I don't know if I want to take this case on because I'm going to lose this case.
That's not fair. It's not that lawyers don't care. It's that the lawyer cares when they've been given the money to care about the certain thing and whatever side they're on.
Yeah.
Because they do care then. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, the best way of them getting paid is to win.
Yeah. Well, they're going to get paid if they lose. They're still billable hours.
Totally. But, I mean, you're not exactly going to get hundreds of jobs as a hotshot lawyer if you're constantly losing your cases.
No, there's
still prestige involved.
But I don't think that, like Eric Clapton's team of lawyers, I don't think that there's an annual review where he's like, well, I'm sorry, David, your win to loss ratio is a bit low this year, so we're going to have to say goodbye.
I know, that's fair.
So
you never know. He seems like a bastard. Maybe he does.
I agree with you on that one. Ultimately, Eric Clapton is a bastard.
No. We, in our opinion, think he's a bastard. It's not fact. We're not going to get sued over him saying, you called me a bastard and I'm not.
That's a really interesting one, isn't it?
Because he is a litigious bastard.
Well, bastard has a
in
meaning.
my opinion.
Yeah. Bastard has a literal meaning, right? And it's worth considering. I'm not going to state it's my opinion. I'm going to state Eric Clapton is a bastard. Not in the literal sense of the word, but the colloquial sense that people use.
Yes.
So come after me, Eric. I would thoroughly enjoy it.
It's an insult, not a descriptor.
Yeah. So, there's lots of things that we know. Eric Clapton is a bastard, and also, did you know? This show is brought to you by our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. We want to remind you guys that there is still time to get involved in the upcoming Run 16 guitars. Those include these incredible hypes available in 5 new colours. That Dragon Burst is absolutely stunning. You can also get your hands on one of the Metal X's, again available in a range of finishes. My personal pick has to be these headless Vs, absolutely outrageously cool. Imagine one of those in an 8-string. I absolutely love these. And finally, the Ando San signature model, available in 6, 7 and 8-string availability. Go and check them out at Ormsby's website right now. This show is also brought to you by our friends over at Rev Amplification, a one-stop shop for all of your tonal needs. Head on over to their website to check out their range of lunchbox amplifiers, both the D20 and G20, 20-watt amplifiers with built-in 2-notes torpedo technology so you can record direct into your computer. If that doesn't suit, you can also check out one of their highly popular G2, 3 and 4 pedals, giving you that trademark Rev tone in a stomp box. Incredible tones. I use these myself. And finally, you may notice in the back of these videos a Rev Generator 120, an absolute masterclass in modern electric guitar tones. Check it out at their site now. So as always, a huge thanks to our friends and family over at both Ormsby Guitars and Rev Amplification. Please do go and check those guys out. They make lots of good products. I'll try and endeavour to get my video up talking about that Rusty Cooley RC1. And how it's the best shred guitar they own, because I've just got my Vigier back from Davey. From Davey.
Yep.
Set up, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I thought it would be kind of nice to do not really a head to head, but to bring the Vigier on, take the mayonnaise duvel on and the rusty coolie and just talk about them and say why I still think that RC1 is the best shred guitar that for the money that you can possibly buy. So I'll make that video, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show today, guys. Please do send us some fan mail at GsolesFanMail@gmail.com. This episode, of course, will be going live on the 20th, Monday the 20th. We won't be seeing you next Monday the 27th. It's too close to Christmas, but also we want to bring you a live show. Mike's, when are you working? You're working 26th and 27th, was that right?
26th and 27th, that's right.
Yeah. So, short of getting an episode done on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, we wouldn't be able to get you a show done anyway.
Nah.
But we want to bring you a live show. So we're going to bring you a live show on December the 29th. It's going to be our Christmas/end of year live show. It's going to be really good fun. I'm having a panic now and thinking that Melissa might have a gig on the 29th. No, that's before Christmas, the 23rd. Okay, cool.
If we need to reschedule, we'll reschedule, and I'm sure we can overdub voices in the video.
Yeah. Well, not in retrospect. Actually, you did the live stream last time, but you weren't there from the very start, I would assume.
No, not the
I completely fucked up the edit of the show. I didn't completely fuck up. When I finished the edit of the show and then dragged the loop over to, the part I wanted to render out, I rendered it, I dragged it and it auto clicks at things when you reach the end of an event. So I thought I dragged it to the very, very start, but I hadn't. I dragged it to the point where we start fading in. So the show last week started with just the end of the theme tune. Just like an abrupt start. So I'll try and not do that.
I did see the comment about the intro being fucked, but I missed it.
Yeah. So
I
don't think people mind. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, if not, I don't really celebrate Christmas in the traditional sense. We hope that you enjoy not being at work. We hope that you have a drink if you enjoy a drink, don't have a drink if you don't enjoy a drink, spend some time with some loved ones, and have a great time. And you'll catch us on the 29th for our
live.
Yeah, for a good one.
Show.
So, Mike, until next time.
Fuck the gammons. Happy holidays.
But I want gammon for Christmas. That's not true. Give me my turkey.